Everyone has a story. Stories have power. Hello, Shayne.
Hey.
They help us understand each other. This is Jessops Journal. Shayne, it is time to sign in, please.
Let's do it. All right.
Well, today we have the caffeinated comedian, the tattooed troubadour, Mr. Shayne Smith. Shayne, thanks for coming on to Jessops Journal.
Of course,
today.
happy to be here, man.
So, what you doing in Salt Lake City today?
Today I'm hanging out with you, but I'm here in Salt Lake City to film. I was here to film my special and then to perform at Wise Guys here in downtown Salt Lake.
You know, you've been doing this comedian thing for a while.
Uh-huh.
How in the world did you get into it?
I got into comedy because I couldn't sing or dance, and I had no other talents to speak of, and I didn't go to very much school, which, and by very much I mean almost zero,
Okay.
which people probably guessed. But yeah, I didn't go to school. I didn't have any talents. I was like, what should I do with myself? Comedy was one of the first things I thought of. Making people laugh seems fun. I went to open mic, and I was like, oh, I'll just do this.
Yeah.
And here I am.
So where did you go to open mic the first time?
I went to open mic at Wise Guys. At the
okay.
time, Wise Guys was at Trolley Square.
Yeah, I
still.
remember. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How was the audience reaction that first time?
Oh, terrible. Horrible.
Yeah?
Yeah, so bad. It's never. Anyone who does good their first time is in for. That's a bad sign.
Okay.
I feel like you shouldn't do good your first time because you're going to do bad later and then you're going to be really bummed out. Yeah, I did so bad. I remember there was zero laughter, and then I said a joke about how it was like a self-depreciating joke about how I can't date very well,
Uh-huh.
and the jokes were so badly written and not anything like what I do now.
Okay.
And I remember there was complete silence, and then audibly one woman in the audience like let out a ha, like.
Serious?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
yeah,
I feel
it's
for
like
you.
a pity ha.
Uh-huh.
Or it's like she thought it was funny that I was terrible at dating. So it was really bad. It was so bad. Stuck with me forever. So.
Well, the name of this series, again, is Jessops Journal. We have a little slogan. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. So one of the things that I've noticed is that your comedic style is story-driven.
Yeah.
When did you switch over and why?
So writing jokes is hard, and
Yeah.
I'm not good at just. I have so many friends that do one-liners, or they do like sort of observational jokes that are set up punchline, and I can do those, and I do those sometimes, but I just found it was so much easier to just do it naturally and tell stories. And so I would tell a story, and I'm like, that was easier than jokes. But I still want to do jokes. And then as time goes on, you start to do more stories. And then I started to get better at stories. Then I realized my stories were funnier than my jokes, like my jokes, you know what I mean? So now I just do what I do. Stories are so fun to tell. I have a ton of them. And the better you get at writing them, the easier they become to tell. And so now I just do stories. Also, I feel like it's my favorite comedy to listen to. And so it makes me laugh. And so now, as a performer, I'm most interested in having fun on stage. And so stories are the funnest thing I can do up there. So that's just what I do.
There's short stories, and then there's what I affectionately call slow burns. Do you have a preference in those? And do one work better than the other, or does it kind of depend?
So when I hear you say slow burn, it makes it feel like I'm telling a story that like ramps up to a joke. But I don't like to do that. If I'm going to tell a story, it's like packed with jokes throughout.
Okay.
And so I like all of them. I feel like there's really no difference between my short and long stories.
Okay.
Sometimes long stories come to a more satisfying conclusion just because there's like a certain time to get there.
Right.
But I don't really have a preference. I feel like I don't do anything different depending if I'm doing a story that's a minute and a half or if I'm doing a story that's 15.
Okay.
So I like them all. Yeah.
Well, there's one thing that I've noticed, just living on the earth for a while, is my definition of comedy is embarrassment and tragedy multiplied by time. So something that was not funny at all at the time, but is hilarious now.
Yes.
And so I've heard you tell stories about working with special needs kids and, the bathroom and all that kind of stuff. I can't imagine that was very funny at the time.
No.
But
Terrible.
how are your stories based? Are they based on real life, or do you make them up, or what's the deal?
So all my stories are based on real life. I'm not above making up a story because you just want to be funny.
Sure.
But I don't need to. So why would I do extra work? I'm like, when I run out, I'll start making them up. But I'm not even kind of close. So they're all true. I have so many people. They're like, "Did that really happen?" And it's like, I wish it didn't. Trust me, I would rather have made up that happened to me. But yeah, they're all true. I mean, I would say they're 90% true, 10%, embellishments or pieces from another story taken and put into one story because it's funnier or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, they're all real. Oof.
Where'd you get all these stories? I mean, tell me about growing up.
I grew up in Fillmore, Utah, which is, as anyone who's watching this, we're all in Utah. It's a very small town. Got into a lot of trouble as a kid. Didn't have a lot to do except for to get into trouble. So, just growing up, I was a troublemaker, and sometimes young troublemakers turn into old troublemakers. So, I've just been a guy who's doesn't say no. You know what I mean? I don't mean that in like a very, I don't know, in a sort of like philosophy sort of way, not in a literal sort of way, but I just got into it a lot, and so I've gotten myself into enough trouble over time that I have a lot of stories now.
Yeah. So what was the first story that you remember that just really kind of resonated with people?
I don't tell it on stage, but I used to tell a story about a time a bully was beating me up in front of my friends, and he was much older. He was like 2 grades above us, and he had me in the snow, and he was punching me in the face, and I was laughing at him for punching me. And then he said, "What are you, stupid?" And I said, "I'm not stupid." And I had a book in my hand, and I held up the book, and I said, "I read." And all my friends at the time were watching me get beat up. They started laughing hysterically, and I was like, "This is so worth it." Like, the beating was worth it for the joke. And even as a child, I was like, I'm killing it right now. This was cool.
Obviously, you've got a little bit of artwork on you.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Working on it.
I'm guessing that you guys ask this a lot, but is there a particular reason why you like to, because you're what I would call a collector.
Sure.
So, you like it from the art basis standpoint.
Yeah.
But are there any particular tattoos here that actually have a meaning for you?
I mean, quite a few of them, and that's right that you call it collecting. Most heavily tattooed people call it collecting, which I'm almost weirdly, it sounds sinister, like I'm up to something. But anyway, a lot of my tattoos don't mean anything. I just really like them because I had so many, and then I wanted more, and so they're just art. But a lot of them, like for instance, my throat, is 3 X's. It represents straight edge, which is a punk rock subculture that's all about sobriety.
Right.
So that's a big one. I've been sober and caring about the sober community and music and people, living their best lives and trying to be healthy since I was 14.
Wow.
So I've been sober for almost my entire life. So people are often surprised to hear that one. Quite a few of them have like family meeting, like I have my family motto, which is fight to the death.
Show me which one would be the family motto.
This one says fight to the death. It's the family motto. This is Darth Vader, a very meaningful gentleman to me. He leads the Galactic Empire. I don't know if you're aware.
I'm fairly, yeah, I have lived on this planet for a while. How does a kid from Fillmore get to New York? And don't say train, plane, or automobile.
I wish I could say that I wanted to get away from Fillmore. I was one of those people, but I actually enjoyed growing up in a small town.
Yeah.
I like cowboy stuff. I like guns. I like small towns. So I didn't resent it. I just, I don't know, I just ended up moving. And then I made friends, and then, I was in a band, and we traveled, and then I did comedy, and then comedy took me where comedy took me, and I've traveled so much that New York just felt like the next logical place. So New York it was.
Is there a difference between playing clubs in New York, LA, and for that matter, Utah?
Yeah, people in LA I think are a bit more sensitive for sure.
What do you mean?
Just in general, they're trying to read into what you say. You can
okay.
feel them watching you almost too closely, whereas when you're in New York, people just like, they're waiting for the punchline, they're excited to have a good time. And then people here in Utah, the audiences are top notch. People here just want to have fun.
Yep.
I don't feel like they want anything from you but to laugh. Sometimes when you perform in other places, you can feel people being like, say the right thing, don't say the thing I'm thinking, or have the opinion I want, or they just like, they want something from you that isn't just your jokes.
Right.
Which is strange, because I'm not like a commenter. You know, don't take my advice. That's so terrible. Why would you ever take my advice on any, like...
I'm guessing you get a lot of people asking, well, do you think I should get that tattoo or this tattoo?
Always. And it's never good. They're always like, do you think I should get the scorpion on my face? It's like, no. Don't. Why would you ever? Don't get a scorpion on your face, everybody.
Why did you decide to get tattoos on your face then?
I was like 19.
Young and dumb type stuff?
Yeah, I was young, I was dumb. I had a ton of tattoos already. My friends were getting tattooed. Of course, I was like involved in like a seedier culture at the time, and like that was the culture. You were just gonna tattoo your hands, your throat, and your face.
Okay.
And it was a part of having people's respect and wanting people to see that you were serious about living the lifestyle and everything else. And if my friends were gonna do it, or one person I know was going to do it, then I wasn't going to be the one to not do it. You know, I've never been a person to be outdone. So I was like, I'm going to get my face tattooed. So I did the ones on the side of my face. And then once that had happened, and then I got older, and of course my mindset flipped, and I just began enjoying tattoos for the sake of having them and not to impress anyone or be tough or whatever lame reasons people will get tattooed. Then I just wanted more because I enjoyed them, you know. And then then I added to my face just for the love of the game.
Yeah. Well, you know, I know you're a big fan of Mountain Dew.
I am.
Okay, so the caffeinated comedian. There's one story that you tell
Yeah.
about, you know, here you are walking into a place, and instead of seeing all the tattoos, you're known as
The Mountain Dew guy.
tell me about that.
So that's very funny. And what's interesting is I've put that test to the real test and moved to New York, found a new 7-Eleven to go to, and they, without ever having seen my comedy, also call me the Mountain Dew guy.
Really?
Yes, that's very real. So I would just go to the 7-Eleven that was by my house all the time, and I would drink like, and people are going to cringe when they hear this, I want to say 7 or 8 double gulps a day.
Oof.
So I only know because you get a free 7th.
Oh, there you go. It's 7-Eleven.
I would
Come
get
on,
a free one every day. So which means I'm drinking, I don't know, probably over a gallon of soda a day. Oh, it's diet, everybody. Be cool.
Yeah.
So I know I can hear people being like, that's worse for you. But so I drank a lot, so much so that people were just like, are you okay? I feel like do you drink water? Are you dying? And so I would just show up, and then they would call me Mountain Dew guy. They'd be like, hey, Mountain Dew guy. And one of my friends came in with me once, and he was like, why are they calling you that? And I was like, oh, because I drink so much that they're like fascinated by it. And they're like, that's the most fascinating thing about you?
Yeah.
You drink so much soda that's the thing, not the tattoos. And I was like, oh, that's a really funny joke, actually.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
So Pepsi, if you're out there, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I would like.
Come on.
Listen, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Give me free Pepsi, and I will get me off this planet. I will drink enough diet soda till I die. I'm ready.
Lifetime supply. Mountain Dew, provided by PepsiCo. Oh. Was there somebody that believed in you before you believed in you?
Yes. Like I have a friend, his name's Devin Nielsen. We've been friends since 7th grade.
Yeah.
He's also, he's been one of my biggest supporters since day one. Like, it was always a kid that was always making mistakes and doing stupid stuff, but he was always kind of there to remind me, like, hey, you're not stupid. Like, do better. Right. No matter how many times I was dumb. So big shout out to him. And then There was a woman named Jeannie Woodliff when I was very young who told me I had to do homework, even though she had no right to make me do homework. She's one of those people.
Yeah.
You ever have one of those people in your life? You're like, I don't even know. They're just like a random adult. They're making you do work. You're like, who are you? But she was great. She helped me out a lot. Yeah. And then, of course, my family. My mom and my brother have been huge parts of my life. My grandpa has never, ever... You know, I don't think my grandpa has ever even mentioned that I have tattoos, which is weird. He's 96. He's very old. You think he would be like, what is going on with your face? Maybe don't.
Yeah. Well, for all you know, he's got a tattoo.
Well, I don't think he does. He was in the service. I feel like he fought in World War II. He would have told me by now. Now I'm curious. What if he does and I don't know?
What was your biggest break?
It definitely had to be, I recorded a special with a company called Dry Bar, which is located here in Provo. And they had me do this special, and I kind of thought nothing of it. Like, okay, I'll record this with them, and they'll put it on their website, and no one will ever see it. It'll never matter.
Yeah.
You know, because as a show business person, you never assume whatever you're going to do is going to be this big hit or whatever.
Right.
So I did it, and it was like, okay, back to business as usual. And then it blew up. Like they recorded it, they put it on the internet, and then it went viral. And I have like 80 million views or some crazy amount of views online and total. Over the course of all my stuff, and that was my huge break. From that, I got tons of opportunities and things. I was so surprised. That was the break. That was the one.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so it was crazy. Much more than I expected.
So what's next for you?
What's next? Well, I filmed my new special, the same company. Let's hope that does the same thing. More fans, more popular. Let's hope pretty soon here there's a chance I could be on TV doing some things. I've been acting in some movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nothing big, but still, usually when I act, I'm prisoner number 2 very often.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I have not been prisoner number 2 as of late. I've upgraded, and not to prisoner number 1. I've upgraded to burnout sandwich artist or guy who sells drugs to kids.
Oh, wow.
Things that look like I would do or as a character. And so acting has been good. Yeah, so I'm just looking to move the ball forward. Do what I do, just do more stand-up mostly.
Right.
Tour the country and represent for Utah. I love it.
Is there a particular story that either you get asked a lot or means something special to you that you can tell us?
I worked for a nonprofit organization that serviced young kids that had developmental disabilities.
Okay.
So I worked with this young guy that had autism. He was like 11 years old, and he was great. I worked with him for many, many years until he was an adult.
Okay.
But at this time, he's about 11 years old, and he goes, Shayne, I want to go to the Lego store today. And it was my job to assist him with living.
Okay.
So I would drive him wherever he wanted to go for the afternoon. It's his afternoon. I'm driving him to the Lego store. I'm having a very bad time. He can tell that I'm having a bad day. I can't remember I was fighting with my girlfriend or whatever. He can see that I'm sad and he wants to cheer me up. So as we're driving along, he's in the passenger side, I'm driving. He reaches over and he goes, Shayne, you're the coolest person I know. And then he stops and he looks out the window and he goes, I gotta meet more people.
It's like build up and not so much. It's like,
So that one hurt. And I remember the first time I told that, I told it after it happened.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was just kind of like venting it, like getting it off my chest. Like, can you believe this? And it killed so hard that it almost was like, he really got me. If he could have seen how funny they thought his burn was. I don't think he did it on purpose, but it was just like, man, he did me dirty. He got me on that. He sauced on me pretty hard.
So have you seen him since then?
I have, yeah.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. His lightsaber collection is growing. The staff at his work hate it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, thank you very much for coming on today. And
thanks for having me.
Keep killing it out there, man.
You too.
We have some lovely parting gifts from our underwriters.
I'm very excited.
Okay, drum roll, please. Here we go. Okay. Let's first start out. Rustico made you a personalized leather journal.
So fancy.
Very cool. We've got a beautiful copper pen from these guys.
Right.
There we go. You know, I love taping here at Taylor Cooperative, and they are the guys that make all my shirts and suits and everything. So they're going to hook you up with a made-to-measure custom shirt.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna look so good.
There you go. And then I have been known to wear a hat or two.
All right.
And so JW Custom Hats is my custom hatter. And so they're going to hook you up with your own personalized custom hat.
Nice. I'm growing my hair out. Hats will be my life for the next year. I'm excited.
There you go. And then I don't know if you drink now, but folks at Ogden's Own Distillery are helping you out with a little booze back. And lastly, the folks from Life Never Boring, and I'm pretty sure your life is definitely never boring, are giving you a little outfit there as well. Shayne, the one thing I want people to remember is that stories have power, especially the stories that you tell. They help us understand each other. With another entry in Jessops Journal and with Shayne Smith, I'm Doug Jessup, ABC4 News.